a lot of our keyword research goes down to competitor-based research now, especially when we're working with an
Yes.
expired domain where we've already got some authority. So, yeah, do you want to cover how we're going about that?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a hot topic and a hot word in the industry now about correlation. Like, how do you correlate your content to X? Typically, people are trying to correlate their content to websites in the top 10, for example, and there are tons of tools out there which help you to do that. But and that approach is good and it's fine, but we've taken a slightly different approach to this. The reason being that if, for example, we're working with an expired domain and it is a DR25, for example, if we're creating a piece of content and we're correlating it to websites in the top 10, those websites could be a DR50, a DR70. There might be one DR20 in there as well, but essentially we would be trying to correlate to websites which are not the same as us, typically stronger. So our approach to this is a little bit different, where we compile a massive list of competitors in the space. So we don't even look at any metrics to start with. We literally just look at who are all the competitors in the space. Typically content sites and affiliate sites. We exclude all, any e-commerce sites and things like that. It's just content-based sites. And then we pull out 6 different metrics. And this is just to help us gauge the domain strength. So we pull out UR and DR from Ahrefs, trust flow, citation flow from Majestic, and DA and PA from Moz. And the reason that we use 3 different providers is because sometimes the results can be a little bit skewed from just one. So we want a nice overall blend of how strong a domain is. And then we add them all up. And then we do the same for the expired domain that we're working with, for example. And we order them highest to lowest on that total score. And that allows us initially to kind of see where this domain fits in the competitor landscape, just in terms of domain strength, which is helpful in itself. Like, you kind of see, like, are you in the bottom quarter? Are you in the top 3 quarters? Kind of gives you an idea of where you lie. And then from there, all of the domains that are of similar strength or weaker strength, we pull into a new list, and then we pull out the monthly traffic data from SEMrush, which is not super accurate. We know it's like 2 or 3 times lower than what the actual number is, but it's a good reference if you are using it across all of them. And then from there, we want to work out a ratio which gives us an idea of how well they're making use of their domain power. So we divide their total monthly traffic by the total score of all the 6 metrics we added up. And that gives us a ratio which says for every 1 domain point they have, how many organic visitors are they driving per month. And essentially at this point, we're looking for, like, outliers, like sites which shouldn't be getting the traffic that they're getting, or almost like anomalies, where their domains are fairly weak, but they're getting lots of traffic. And what that says to us is, if it's not the domain strength that's allowing them to get this traffic, it's something else. And that something else really can only be content, unless they're using some kind of hidden PBN or something like that. But typically it would be content. And then that's the site that we want to correlate to. So we use Screaming Frog to pull out all the titles of their top pages, the H tags, the content structure, the content length, and essentially it becomes almost like an imitation game then. How can we look at this competitor's piece of content? How can we structure ours in the same way? How can we make sure we have the same number of H tags that say roughly the same thing? How can we make sure that our content is the same length, maybe a little bit longer, a little bit more in depth? And basically, how do we create something that's just as good, if not a little bit better? And then when we know that we upload it and we do all the good on-page stuff, making sure that the hierarchy is right and internal linking and our site structure is correct, over time, we know that we can outrank those people because our domain is essentially better and we've got a very similar structured piece of content. So that's how we approach